This is a test route that's going to take in Loughries via the coast road. Setting off at the test centre, make sure that you have your biting point for the hill because there's a slight slope. Travel out and follow around to the left as it's a one-way system. Maintain a speed in and around 10 miles an hour. Picking the right hand lane, as the left lane is only for emergency stop checks on the MOT. You will come to a ramp where it says 15. I would advise first gear 5 miles an hour, as it's new and quite extreme. Ramp at the main gate, second gear in and around 15. We have now entered Jubilee Road, quite an industrial type area, so take effect that you could have other learner drivers, a lot of larger vehicles and people who are looking for types of businesses that they don't normally visit, like tiles, DIY place. Dealing accordingly with traffic. This road is unmarked, i.e. there's no white lines, so you have to sort of emphasise or visualise where the middle of the road is yourself, and always drive at a speed where you can either give space of a car door width, or if you have to go closer, reduce. When approaching traffic lights, your examiner will either say left or right. If not, follow the road ahead. On this occasion, we're going to turn left at the traffic lights. Normal procedure as your instructor has taught you, anticipating that the lights could change. On this route, you may be asked to take up the right-hand lane straight away on the new road, and that's because the next set of lights only go straight in the right-hand lane. We have now entered Cumber Road. Which may vary. Main hazards you're looking here is doors opening, children running out between cars, so always look for feet underneath the car if you can. And if you're told nothing at these traffic lights, you would position to go straight ahead. We are now on South Street. At the end of the road, at the junction, it's left only into a one-way system. Check your mirrors, indicating is optional. This is a particularly busy junction with pedestrians and is on a slight hill, so it will require hill starts. Vision wise, you may need to creep out slightly, and always position in the left hand lane on any road unless you're told different. Once in the road, you will be asked to take up the right-hand lane. Normal procedure, making sure that it's safe, and also you're doing it on a single white line, not hazard lines or deviation lines coming up the crossings. Continue in the one-way system. We've now entered Gibson's Lane, and you following the lane that you've been asked to take up until told different or parked cars facilitate the reason for it. General sort of standard one-way system town centre traffic, second gear in the region of about 20-ish, scanning your crossings, treating any crossing or a green light as a bonus, not a guarantee. Shortly this route will come up to a cross and merge point where you'll see a split line in the V. You'll be asked to take up the left lane on the hill, so you check, indicate left, and you should be able to slide over direct into the left lane, and that starts to leave the sort of circuit of a one-way system. We're now in Castle Place. Castle Street. Going to go straight on at the traffic lights. Because there's a left filter arrow built in to the light set, that indicates that you use the right hand lane for straight. As a left filter and traffic lights means it's left only in the left lane. Should you forget that and end up in the left lane, please don't go straight, just follow left, and they will then reschedule you onto a different route, or possibly an extra couple of turns to get you back onto the original. General rule of thumb is when you've stopped in stationary traffic, you should always be able to see the tires touching the ground from the vehicle in front at approximately about a foot or a third of a metre of road, and that would make it easier should the vehicle in front stall or break down. Try to be observant when you're stopped at traffic lights, on anticipating them changing, checking for bikes, etc. that could be coming through on either side. Try not to look into other cars, in the shop windows, at the floor, etc. Stay alert, because a lot of people panic when lights change, and sometimes they could move off, or obviously have people giving aggression with horns behind. As we can see there, the left filter arrows for left only, with a red light would be holding the straight and possible right turners at bay. At intensive driving courses, we offer courses from 15 hours upwards, depending on experience, etc. So travelling straight on at the traffic lights, we're going to check and flow back to the left hand lane, and this road actually goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane and then back to 2. So I've just positioned there approximately a metre from the curb, and at the roundabout approaching, we're going to take the first exit, which effectively is straight ahead. So you can indicate on approach or halfway round to show that you're leaving. Exiting the roundabout, we're now onto Portaferry Road. This route has quite a few speed changes, so we're now going from a 30 to a 40 and building up accordingly in regards to what the traffic's doing. Something to check here is what's known as the 2-second rule. So I'm going to pick a fixed point further down the road, a certain street light, allow a vehicle in front to pass it, and I should then be able to say only a fool breaks a 2-second rule before I pass the same point. National speed coming up, so checking the mirrors, check the behaviour, and if the traffic increases the speed, we can increase accordingly. Just remembering that 45 is the limit where it's safe to do so, although in this road it's 60 for cars, small vans and motorbikes. The roundabout to our next turn, it's approximately about 2 miles, about 3 to 4 minutes driving. Considerations you should be showing here is good lane positioning, keeping the mirror checks up, because as the workload comes down, sometimes the concentration can lapse as well. The possibility of cyclists, people walking, etc., larger, slower agricultural vehicles. You'll be told in good time to take the next road on the left, which is just before the White House with the red roof. So just normal procedure, mirror sync manoeuvre as you've been taught. Bearing in mind you're coming off a faster road than their normal 30s. So just make sure you're entering most left turns no more than 15 on the speed. Quite soon into this road they may pull you in on the left. And this is generally to see if you can move off on an incline. It's quite a gentle slope, but can still cause a roll. So normal procedures round, blind spot being your last check. Also, when we entered this road, there was no different speed limit sign, so it's exactly the same as the road you've come off, and that's a good rule of thumb. If you don't see another change of speed in the new road, follow on to the last banner that you see. So we've now a rural road here which is not marked, and it means it's not that well used, but again, just try and visualise the middle. You see yet another change of speed as we're coming into a village type environment. So again, just checking behind. More than likely he or she will pull you up just past that wall, and that will be for the emergency stop exercise. Absence of footpaths, just remember that what you pull in close to is not always going to be a nice smooth curb. It could be potholes, ditches, etc. So be mindful to drop the speed before you enter anything other than the black tarmac. At the end of this road we will turn left. We're currently on Finley's Road and we're going to be turning on to a new road. This will be a hill start. Always show your capabilities. Never risk driving out trying to avoid a hill start. And we've now turned on to Booton or Bowtown Road. still 30 miles an hour, so we haven't seen a change just yet. We can now see our national. So we're going to work accordingly. We're going to check our mirrors. Nobody's overtaken. This road can be quite windy, so on most vehicles, third gear is preferred. Corners are quite tight, so you're trying to show progress, but not put yourself at risk of any sort of rallying, etc. If the corner's quite difficult, ease off. And again, with no footpaths, so we're thinking people walking, obviously people cycling, etc. could cause slower issues. And you're only supposed to come around cyclists, pedestrians when it's safe. If the view's obscured, don't crowd the vulnerable road user, but don't take any risks going around just because you're on test. So we're still on Button Road, or Bowtown Road as it's officially called. National speed, as you can see, there is no consistent street lights. Consistent means that the whole area would be lit up at lighting up time. And always thinking, could you stop in the distance you see to be clear? And that's why every corner and every hill should be treated with respect. Enter now back to the urban areas. We can see the speeds reducing. So again, effective mirror checks in all three, making sure you're no more than the speed as you pass the sign. Still Bowtown Road. Various places along the route you may be asked to pull in and move off, and that's just to say that you've got a good routine, a good focused routine. They'll not just do it one or two times. Possibility that you could be asked to take the next road on the right, which we're going to do. We're going to follow the other vehicle there. And we're now turning into East Mount. Possibility up here for turning the road or reverse round a corner. So I'm just going to effect a reverse round into the junction just to continue the route. Obviously you would do this and take a slightly longer time. There will be one reverse exercise required on any successful test and your emergency stop exercise. Generally then you should be asked to exit whatever road on the left that you've used back onto East Mount. Two to 3 minutes taken for a manoeuvre is not seen as a big issue, and obviously if there's more traffic then extra time will be required, but there's absolutely no use in rushing. So at the end of this road we're going to emerge to the right, which will bring us back onto the main road where we will continue the test route. So we're back onto the Bowtown Road again. As you can see with street lights there, consistent, 30 miles an hour is your maximum speed. is an option where your examiner may give you the first road on the left, or you could continue on round as we're doing. We're now on Upper Greenwell Street. At the traffic lights at the end of the road, we're going to emerge to the left. Normal procedure, mirror signal. As you approach the traffic lights, they may say to you, take up the right-hand lane, which normally instigates that another right turn is coming shortly. If not, always position to the left lane and then follow directions. So in this scenario, we're going to position to the right-hand lanes. We're just taking our corner slightly wider. And I'll say that will facilitate then a right turn at the traffic lights at the end of the road. Really, if you're more than 3 cars back in the queue at traffic lights, you're never guaranteed the first green light. Just treat it as a bonus if it remains. Less toll different, always position to the left-hand lane if there's an option of 2 or more. Check for any change of speed. If you don't see a sign within 15 seconds, generally it's the same speed as the last. The upcoming traffic lights, we're going to turn left, traffic light permitting, normal procedure, just anticipating that they may change. Turn now onto South Street. So at this point we're probably 2 to 3 minutes from the test centre. This could be a very, very tight road, especially when there's a lot of building work going on. If the space is reduce the speed. The very worst, if you go too slow, on 1 or 2 occasions it will be put down as being hesitant. That's a far safer option than risking high speed through low space. Next set of traffic lights, we're going to go straight. They will probably say preferred in the right hand lane, so just checking your mirrors and gliding. That then will facilitate a right turn at the next set of lights. And that is turning back now into Jubilee Road, which will lead back up to the test centre. Where now you could be returning and starting to mingle in with other tests. Unmarked roads, so just be very conscious of where the middle is. Especially on the right turns, try to take your sweep around. this point you have not done a reverse exercise, you could ask to do a turn in the road. Or a bay park back at the test centre. So entering the test centre, the ramp at the gate, second gear, roughly about 15. The next ramp, where you'll see a ramp sign, definitely first gear, 5 miles an hour. So try to get down in the first in good time. Draw your clutch up nice and gentle, as the next ramp is quite big. And when you're actually coming in, at the end of the test, mirror signal, indicate left, and just drive straight in, nice and slowly, to one of the bays. Handbrake, neutral, end of test, where you'll be given the result at that stage. Thank you from Intensive Driving Courses NI.